Hi guys, we're going to talk today a little bit about Module 5, Lesson 1 on our math, okay? And today we are learning how to add to and take from within 5. So I'm going to use little cubes today, and we're going to use some counters, and I'm going to use my red and yellow bears. And we're going to do this paper together today, okay? So the first thing you're going to need is to go get your lesson, Module 5, Lesson 1 paper. So these right here, okay? If you need to pause it to go grab them, go ahead and go do that. So we are talking about the number 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, okay? So let's look at our paper. How many groups of 5? So when we think about groups, we mean like we're going to take a group of bears. This is one whole group of bears. Then I might take another group of cubes. So I have one group of bears, one group of cubes, okay? And I have 5 of each of those right now. We're not going to count them just yet because I want you to know that the term of groups means it's a bunch of things together, okay? More than one objects together. So let's look at our picture here. When we look at our picture, we want to look, where can we find groups of 5? So I'm going to look and start, we always start at the top. So let's start at the top and work our way down just so we can see if we see any groups of 5. Well, we know we have one big tree here. We have a tree house, and we have some kiddos up here playing. And then we have some flowers down here. Let's look at our group of flowers because they're grouped together. They're side by side over here. Let's count them and see. I bet there's probably 5. So we want to say there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, okay? So there are a group of 5. So we're going to circle this group of 5. You guys can take your pencil and circle the group of 5 as well. Then let's take a peek. Let's see here. What other things do you see 5 of? If we go over here to this way, are there 5 flowers right here? If you count them, how many do you count? 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's not 5. So we're just going to leave that one alone. Then let's look. What are these little kids doing down here? What does it look like they're doing? They're reading books, right? And then here's some more books down here. So let's count how many books we find. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So there's 5 books. That is another group of 5. So we're going to circle the books. Okay? All right. Now there are 5 children. If you look, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. But if we look at these kiddos, they're kind of all separated too right now. If they were all together, we could say that was one group, right? But since they're separated, we'll just leave that alone. So take your paper and turn it over. All right, let's look at this page. So when we look at the directions down here at the bottom, you're always reading the directions first. For number 1, it says count and write how many in each group. So there's 2 things there. We're going to count them, and then we're going to write how many are in each group. So first thing we're going to do is count our soccer balls, and we always go left to right, top to bottom. So starting here, we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And Miss Hamby is, if you can't see it very well, that's okay. I'm just writing the numbers of how many there are, so that way I know I counted them. You can either touch them to count them, just make sure you don't miss any, or you can go ahead and write the number right above it, and then you practice writing your numbers too. So I counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So then what number do you think we're going to write right here? The number 5. So remember, we come straight down to our dotted line, and then a big old belly right here, and then we're going to draw a top hat on the top. That's our number 5. Okay, go to this one. 1, 2, 3, 4. So then we're going to write the number 4. Straight down and across. Pick your pencil up and come up to the top and then down to the bottom. There's your number 4. Okay, and then our next group is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 more soccer balls. So I'm going to come down halfway, a belly, and across the top. Okay? All right. Now this is where it gets a little tricky. So this is where we're going to practice a little bit extra with my counters and bears and cubes that I have, okay? It says ways to make 4 and 5. So the directions say write the numbers to show a way to make 5. Well, right here, just to answer this problem, it's asking us how many reds do we have, and put that number right here, and how many yellows do we have, and put that number right here. So first, let's count how many reds. We have 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we have 4 reds in our cube train. So I'm going to write the number 4 right here, okay? And how many yellows do I have? 1. Good job. So I'm going to write a 1 right there. So I have 4 reds and 1 yellow. And when we add those all together, we get 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So we want to learn to count forward. So if I have 4 reds and 1 more, I would say 4, 5. That's 5 total, okay? So let's look at my cube trains. How many ways can we make 5? Well, first, let's do our reds and our yellows here. I could have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I could have all reds, couldn't I, and no yellows, and that would be 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I would say there's 5 reds, and how many yellows? 0. So 5 and 0 is this one, okay? Then, what if I take one of my reds away? Let's see how many we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, but we want to make 5. So let's add a yellow. 1, 2, 3, 4 reds and 1 yellow is 5 total. Now let's take away another red and put another yellow in here. How many reds? 3. And there's 2 yellows, so 3, 4, 5. Okay. Now we have 2, 3, 4, 5. We're counting on, okay? So parents, if you're watching this as well, that's something that we're trying to teach them from this day on, is that we count on, or we count forward. So they would start with the number that they know and count forward from there, okay? So they should always know their numbers in order. So then if we take our red away and we add another one, now we would have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Then we could take that away, and now how many reds do we have? 0 and 5. 5 yellows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? So if I had this right here, I know that I have 3 yellows. So since I know I have 3 yellows here, then I would say 3, 4, 5 to count on. Okay? So that's what it means by counting on. Okay, you can go back to your paper here. Order numbers to 5. This is what we're talking about. Our numbers are always in an order, okay? You guys can't count 0, 5, 3, 2, 10. We always count in order. And it starts with 0. So we have a 0 is a number, and then What comes after 0? 1. What comes after 1? Always. 2. What comes after 2? 3. And that's how we're going to order our numbers, okay? So after 0, write our numbers in order to 5. 0, 1 comes after 0. Then we said what comes after 1? 2. What comes after 2? 3. What comes after 3? 4. And what comes after 4? 5. So now you guys look at that. See how they're in order? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, good job. So that's our opening paper. Now for Module 5, Lesson 1, I'm going to go over a little bit of it, and then you guys are going to do some of this stuff on your own, okay? So we're going to act out addition problems within 5. Look at the picture. How can you act out an addition problem for a group of 5 and explain how you know it is 5? Okay, so we're going to act out that. Hold on just a second.